God damn. I'm gonna go Thor, actually, for that argument.
Okay. Underrated?
Underrated.
Okay.
You know, from the business side of it, as an owner, he's legit. I mean, he's, to my understanding, he's the only team in the league that owns their field, right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking the X's and O's, I mean, as a coach, what is he doing? He's putting a competitive team on the field week in, week out, has all stars in this league that keep coming back. And, you know, this, who knows? I mean, this could be their year. Do I think that's the case? No. But when you talk about top tier coaches in this league, Thor doesn't get mentioned. You know?
Yeah. You don't think people talk about him as one of the best though right now? Like, you don't think that's,
if we're talking
when they look at the Vikings and they see the success that they have, you think that they just think it's the Vikings, nothing to do with Thor?
I think he's an afterthought to the players, to be honest with you, if I'm being totally honest with you.
To the players against him or his players?
His players. I think people talk about Malik, they talk about Sean Steve. I think, you know, as an owner, I think he's talked about as one of the top. As a coach.
Okay. I can see that. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I can kind of see that, I guess. Didn't he win an award though? See, like, once you win an award,
and you did the award show.
Listen, once you win an award, it changes things, okay? Because, like I said before, I said it to Greg. I said, listen, like when we were talking about Johnny, you know, I can finally call him an overrated player, because prior, I don't know if he was really rated super high. So it's the first time that I can call him that, because I believe he is that, even prior to him winning this award. But it gets legitimacy, so I can actually say it.
Right. I think his coaching gets overshadowed by his players and his ability as an owner. And that's why I would say that he's an underrated coach.
Okay. What else we got?
Valley, most underrated coach. Oh boy.
I'm gonna say underrated for did I say my overrated for
no. No.
Yeah. On the inside the GFA, do you remember were the Warriors rated pretty high? They didn't give a power ranking or anything, did they?
No. They did a letter grade. I think the Warriors, because of Julius, got like a B+. B+.
Okay. See, it's tough to really know what's. I feel like I'm getting a sense that the Warriors are looked at like they're going to be, like you said, 2 in the Valley, 3 in the Valley. So I would definitely put them on the list of most overrated. The Warriors have been the Warriors for the 5 years.
And that's the part that I don't know, being 2 years at my second year in now. But I've been hearing that from a lot of the vets, that the Warriors are always the mini shock.
In the beginning, they were, and I don't think I ever remember them being trash. But in the beginning, they were very competitive. You could tell that they had guys that cared, a core, to start. But once they became successful, and by that I mean playoff stuff, I think they've been the same team every year.
Right.
So
are we live right now?
No.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. I'm just wondering.
I'm recording it though.
Okay, that's fine.
No. I figure this is a way to go a test run with us. I mean, it's only 10:30 yet. We got time. So
Right. Oh, I'm good.
I'm at least getting on to release my top 25.
Got you.
So I had to prep myself for that. Most underrated, I would say, in the Valley. Man. Part of me wants to say Frank Cicino.
That's who I've written down, actually.
But because of the lack of success the first couple of years, and me being surprised about in terms of recruiting, like you have a whole state area. We don't have
that always bothers you. That always bothers you.
But like you have a whole state, like you have so much to pull from. So it's surprising. I feel like he's preoccupied a little bit.
Right.
So I'm probably gonna have to go with the Brent Melhorn, I guess. And we talked about this before, but I think
right.
I think because of the amount of leadership to me that it takes to take all those personalities that are on that field, even though I would give 90% of the credit to Greg Medina, takes a guy that knows his players, understands the game, has faith in each other, all that stuff. And that has to be part of Brent. So I think it's underrated on some of the things that he is the reason. Like, I don't look at like, oh, he's such a great schemer and a great X's and O's type of guy. And I don't,
right.
But I think, man, what you have to be as a leader to be able to take all those guys who are really talented and be the right coach for that situation. And he obviously brings like a family mentality and all those things. So this league is perfect for that. That's what it's about.
Yep. So the knock on Brent is,
are you in this situation now so people don't know what you look like or what?
Oh no, I'm not having a smoke before we actually go live.
You look like you're in a dark cave.
Right. The problem with Coach Melhorn is when you talk about the Cyclones and the dominance of the Cyclones, like you just said, you talk about the Medinas, the Stums, the Veras. He has, I can't tell you how many mouthpieces on the inside the Jifa and stuff, like,
right.
Right. People just go to bat, and it's not because he hasn't done a fantastic job. It's just same reason with Thor. The players get talked about on such a high level. It almost overshadows the actual coaching job that he has done.
Yeah.
But I got to give it to Frank based off of my expansion year, my rookie year. Man, what'd they have? 18, 20 some injuries, and they were competitive more often than not.
Right.
And they built a strong core up there, and I have some of their players as friends on Facebook, and man, you talk about that tight-knit family feel that teams are looking for in the GFA. I mean, the Rage show that. So I got to go Frank.
Even if it's only 20 of them.
Hey.
You got to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Okay. So sidebar from what we're doing. Who's going to be end of 2021, regular season's over. Who's the worst team in the Valley?
Worst team in the Valley.
Their record. Paint a picture for me.
Worst record and team in the Valley. I think you have two 2-win teams. I think I think unfortunately with the low numbers and probably the furthest travel, I think the Rage, I haven't looked at their schedule, right? But I think the Rage, he's gonna hate me for this, McNulty. I apologize, bro. I don't like the way things are looking.
Okay.
See though, no. Oh man.
You're gonna stomp on some hearts. You may as well pick one. All right, let's go through it. Hold on. Let's go through it. Let's do it this way. Is it the Savages? All right. Do the Savages beat the Shock?
Do the Savages beat the Shock? Yes.
Do they beat the Warriors?
Toss up. Where's the game at? I would need to know.
Warriors.
I gotta give that one to the Warriors.
Do they beat you?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I mean, there's 3 losses right there. Oh no, that you said they beat the Shock, so that's 2-1.
Right.
Right? Did they beat the Diamondbacks or the Rage?
I think they beat the Rage. They lose to the Diamondbacks.
So does that make the playoffs?
I think 4 wins makes the playoffs. So yeah, I have a toss up. I know the Nightmare want that game more than anything. To redeem themselves from last year's Classic.
Yeah, is the what's it called on the website? The schedule.
What's that?
The current schedule? No. Come on, man.
I could find it on.
If there's one thing that I can't, that bothers me, and it is not trying to disrespect whomever is involved and whoever does the job, because I can't imagine how much time things take, blah, 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 whatever it is. I'm not shitting on anybody.
Right.
The website needs to be better.
I agree.
It's not even the website itself. Everything about the website minus the current information. So like, I don't care. Like everything about it, the way it looks, I'm cool with all of that. You just need to get more active with it or have somebody that can do it, because
I have the schedule right here in front of me.
The league schedule.
Yeah.
From where?
The Chief at 360. I have it pulled up on my screen.
Okay. Where's that? Photos?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I still don't see it.
Let me see. Tag photo.
Can you share your screen here?
Hold on. Let me see. Full screen. I shared it on my page. Let me tag. I'll also tag you in it if I can.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Let's go through it. So here's what we're gonna do. Kind of wish I could turn this around. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Whoa. Breaking stuff, dude.
What are you doing?
Not good.
I know it's been about 6 days since your last podcast, but geez.
Breaking stuff, trying to set stuff up. It's not working. All right. I want to go through the shock. So off week 1 against you guys.
They lose.
Saying opening night for them at your home, you're going to beat them?
Yep.
Man, that is a bold statement. I don't know if anything could be bolder. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. Hey, here's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you can, yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine you win that game. You might, but I can't imagine a world in which that happens. All right. And not because you're not good, but it would be the absolute shift because everybody's talking about the shock and this and that. And if they go out and, no offense, lose to you guys, whom were 0-7, that would be a good shift to start everything off. Who plays? Does anybody play week 1?
No.
Okay, so that's amazing. So opener, you're going to go out there and beat the shot because that'll shift everything around, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's 1 loss. Do they beat the Nightmare? At the Nightmare.
No, I don't think they do. I think that game's closer than the Mustangs game, if I'm being honest. But that's a tough way to start for the Shock. 2 on the road. Man.
So you're telling hold 1 second. You're telling me that week 2 or week 1, they go to you and lose.
Yeah.
Sounds big, like they lose big.
Okay. I'm not saying. Listen,
that's what you said. I'm saying it with your eyes. But I'm
saying the Mustangs. The Mustangs beat the Shock week 1. Well, yeah, week 1.
Week 2,
and then they go and I'm gonna say they squeak one out against the Nightmare.
Okay, so they barely beat the Nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure I'm staying with the story. Okay. Week 3, Warriors.
They beat them.
Huh?
They beat them. They beat them.
They beat the Warriors.
That's a game I think the Shock. That's like not a must win, but that's their first game at home. They're gonna come out differently than they do week 1 and week 2. And I think the Warriors get they're on the losing side of that one.
The Shock is.
The Warriors. I think the Shock pretty convincingly beat the Warriors that week.
You think they roll, then they play the Savages after a bye week. Do you think they go and just take care of them easily, or is it? You think?
I think the game's close. I'd probably say 10 to 15 points. Shock win. I think after their first home game, they kind of turn things on, and then that gets derailed at the Cyclones game.
Right.
So I think going into the Cyclones game for the Shock, they're sitting at 2-2. They beat the Savages. They beat the Nightmare. Close games for both.
All right. That's bold. That's bold.
Yeah. I know.
I don't. You probably know way more than I do because I don't know stuff. And I don't pry. I don't really pay attention as much to some of the social media. That makes me sound super old when I say it like that.
It does.
Like I'm like
you just showed your age,
guy, and I'm not used to all the computer stuff.
Yeah, you just showed your age.
So, no, but like, until the Shock kind of get rail, like, other than the Cyclones, until somebody takes care of them right away, I can't imagine. I can't. Let me think. I would assume they beat you. I would assume they beat the Nightmare. Warriors, I think, is the one they would lose. I think they get eye opened a little bit. I think they would come back against the Savages and beat the Savages. Like, I don't know. I think after the Warriors loss, I think it's closer against the Savages, but they beat that. So I think 3-1, and 3-2. I can't, like I said, I don't know where else. Like, do they lose? Like, if you get to that point where they're 3-2,
Yeah.
Do they lose to the Diamondbacks? Are the Diamondbacks better, or are they worse? Are they way worse? Are they? I can't imagine they're better.
So go back 6 weeks ago when 6-8 weeks ago when we scrimmaged the Diamondbacks, and people on the inside the GFA are like, "Oh, Diamondbacks are in trouble. They only had 7 guys show up. They had this, they had that." They are in a lot better position than people realize. I think Ben's building his core up there, and I think, I'm gonna say it. The 3 additions that I said earlier, I think add at least 1 win to that team to go along with Ant, who has been in the league. He's been under Ben. He knows how things are work. They got loyal guys. They got heart. And I think it may not equate to wins and losses, but I think the Diamondbacks of 2021 are going to be very similar to the Rage of 2020. They don't have the great numbers, but they're a lot of heart, and they're in a lot of games. Whether or not that equates to W's, I can't say for sure.
See, I just, that's what I said. Like, I think whoever is the number 2 seed will have 2 losses.
Agreed.
I mean, at least I think it could come down to like everybody's like scrambling, whoever has the most points and shit. Like, I think that's what it could come down to.
Week 8 is going to you're not going to know your seedings in the playoffs for the Valley until week 8 games are played. And again, the whole GFA is shitting on the Valley Conference, but they're sleeping on them.
Okay, but hold on. And no offense, remember that.
Okay, but I know where you're going with this.
But all right, so just because all of it's right here,
right?
Cyclones are up here. Everything else is right here. Doesn't mean that last year or the previous years, it wasn't sort of here and here, but now it's like up here. You know what I mean? So like, if every team got a little bit worse, compared to the best, because like when the Shocker, like it was always kind of the Shock and the Cyclones, right?
Okay.
So if nobody keeps it close, right? At this point you have to beat them, even keeping it close, because if you keep it close against the Cyclones and mop the rest of your teams, we're going to talk about you. But if you lose a game here, lose a game there, or you keep it close with them, but your other games are spotty, that's going to be the same for everybody.
Agreed.
So, are you going to have, is it possible to have a 3-4 team make the playoffs?
Absolutely.
So that's not going to help your argument that the Valley is tough.
Yeah. I get it, but people look at the playoff teams from last year. So just go Valley Conference. You have Cyclones, Shock, Diamondbacks, Warriors. Do the Warriors play the Cyclones tougher in the first round of the playoffs if their regular season finale isn't in Lancaster? Do they, you know what I'm saying? Do they play it differently? Do they play the Cyclones more challenging? Possibly. Don't know. But I think the Cyclones are where they're supposed to be. I think the Shock they're not a 6-1 team. They're not.
Right.
The Diamondbacks aren't a 5-2 team.
Right.
So they may drop down, but I think the rest of the Valley is coming up. So I think the 2 and 3 from last year come down a little bit, but
the way I look at it is the top 4 teams when it comes to the playoffs, when you get down to the end of it all, the best 4 teams in the Mountain, the best 4 teams in the Valley. So let's just go with you're saying Shock is not one of them, or could be, but 4.
Yeah, they could be, but
Okay.
I don't see anybody in the Valley doing what they did last year.
Right.
Period.
So let's go with, and I'm just off the top of my head, Cyclones, Warriors, Mustangs, Savages. Okay. Let's say that's what it ends up with. Shock missed the play. All right. Those 3 teams, one of being yours. So I get it. You see your guys every day. You know what they're putting in. You know what they're working at.
Yep.
So, but those 3 teams you included, are they better than? Let's assume the Comanche, then the Hitmen, then the Vikings. I would say then the Tomahawks. Let's say that's the 3, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, because the Hitmen, if it's going to be us, the Hitmen, or the Vikings, one of those 3 teams is going to be in those 2 spots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of those 3 teams touch those 2 teams.
And that is why you're right.
We have
You're
to agree to
absolutely right.
disagree, essentially, is what.
Right. So with that being said, you know, let's all remember any given Sunday, right? Like you in the Mount, every team in the Mountain that's going to be in the playoffs has gone through a tougher test than every team in the Valley.
Dude, this is why we need to get back to normal and get some crossover games. Like, this stuff needs to happen.
Yes.
Nothing but the league has done a wonderful job at making sure we can play football.
Yes.
We need to get back to the crossover. I would love divisions, dude. I would love divisions. We used to do it.
Somebody just posted about, I think, Simerson, maybe?
Yes.
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yes, and I commented.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, because what I would do is you would play your division, obviously. We used to do it where we played our division twice.
Yeah.
So it was 4 per division. So we played 6 of our games were with the same 3 teams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we did end up playing, I think, 10 games. But I like that because, and then those other 4 games you played one other conference or one other division.
Right.
You rotated.
So one of my biggest gripe, if you would, is that I haven't been able to be a part of a traditional GFA season, all-star game, 3 crossover games or 2 crossover games. Like, I enjoy the future where we're going to be able to travel. Maybe it's out to the Flood City Thunder.
Right.
I heard they have a beautiful park.
Right.
I heard they're playing at a beautiful field, semi-pro baseball or something like that. That's great. I would love for my guys to see that. I would love for my kids to come to that game and they see and they just look up and they're in complete and utter awe of their surroundings. Like, I look forward to that. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, you go and look at it. My first game last year was against the Shock. Or second game, because technically the Classic, but there's like a 3-month layoff there. I looked at the field and I'm like, it's a decent field. It's yellow, you know what I mean? And it's like I could kind of sit there and just give my first impression of everything. But I really look forward to getting back to the 10-game schedule, traditional crossovers. What the Jaguars in the mountain and the Mustangs in the valley last year, they had an unfavorable schedule. Now, we had a problem. We got kicked out of our borough due to COVID. But the Jaguars, to my understanding, played every game on the road.
Yeah.
If you're part of that organization, kudos to you. And it sucks. But if you're in the part of that organization and part of that fan base, how much are they looking forward to having a home game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They keep coming every year. It's not like, I mean, they haven't won a lot of games, but
I don't know who's in charge of scheduling, but they're at the Flood City Thunder week 1. Come on, man. Throw them a bone.
I'm looking for hang on 1 second here. So I'll break this to you now. I mean, we're not live, but even if it gets out, it is what it is. And you might know already. It's fine. Brandon Cope. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
And Derek Watts.
Oh, boy.
You know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just signed both of those guys on Saturday.
Nice. How many tackles did Watts have last year?
I was trying to look it up. Well, no, Derek's the receiver and the DB. He's not the Dylan is the. Isn't he the lineman? I mean, I think we got all of them, but Dylan didn't practice.
Gotcha. That's huge again, and all the more reason I stick by the most improved team in the mountain. So I'm glad I know that. He's gonna make me look real good. Love it.
All right, let's see here. Biggest off-season acquisition. And we're going to go, let's just go league-wide.
Right. So you want to take Tallarico?
It's not that I'm taking Tallarico, it's that it is Tallarico. It has nothing to do with me taking him.
I want to say Abdul Murphy.
If the
Hitmen are in the league last year and they're give or take same record as the Vikings, and then they add Tallarico, I get it. I agree with you. But to me, you played the almighty Cyclones to 8 points. Was it 8 points?
Yep.
Right, as you remember by your tattoo.
Yeah, I don't even need the score there. Somebody said I should have got the score. I know the score.
Right. So I think based off of what I've seen and heard about Abdul Murphy, that man more than one time in the GFA has been an 8-point swing in the league. To me, if you dropped off a couple players and then add Abdul, okay, not that critical. But you didn't lose. You came back. You're as a player. You get your linemen. You get a different look at quarterback, so not as much pressure is on Kasim and Brandon Durr. I think it's huge. I do. I think it's huge. So
Abdul's awesome, so I can't completely like disagree with that.
you have no choice but to say that, or you wouldn't be able to go to practice.
I get that. But I still think, like I said, knowing what you're going to get from a Ron Kerr team, knowing the connections he has at the 11-man game, I have to believe that the roster is going to be ready. I have to believe they have the pieces necessary to compete. You add Corey Tallarico, you add Tony McGraw. These are things that if he would have got Ray Dominguez to play, I don't even know what to say. But
Right.
that team, to me, is worthy of the conversation. I'm not saying you crown them because we're going to beat that team. But
shots fired.
but I just think it's, I think they're going to be more dangerous than the Shock were with him. I do. And that's not a knock on, that's more of a based off what the roster is going to look like, not anything about coaching.
That's fair.
So
that's fair. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the biggest for them to be able to pull those guys. I mean, because like I say, you get Tony with him. That's going to be not nice. So,
so you're going Tallarico. I'm sticking at Bull.
Yeah. Most valuable position to an offense.
Not at quarterback, right? We said we're going to do that.
Not quarterback.
I'm going to go running back.
What can you go through in my head real quick and tell me the last time the leading rushing team or the leading rusher has won a Keystone Bowl?
Can you be one-dimensional in the pass game and be effective?
Yeah, it's called the Cyclones. You can't.
they run plenty. Why do you think Medina has 800 yards a season? Right? Like it may not be designed that way, but again, at the end of
sometimes
right, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it is rushing yards that they're averaging. What, $170 on the ground? I again, without looking at the numbers, just based off of what I'm seeing, like
let me rephrase to eliminate this crack you found.
Okay.
You don't include quarterback rushing. So the leading rusher is not a quarterback. The leading rusher is a running back, and or the team. He's one of the top, real close, and the team is, the leading rushing team. The Cyclones are an anomaly. That's not fair because Greg Medina, yes, but if you take away, I can't even. I'm just trying to think of the best rushing teams in this league. You might have to go back to the Du Bois. Like they might. I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but that's you're talking 2015.
Right, but you also have 3 receivers typically on the field to 1 running back. If you don't get that run game going, you become one-dimensional. You're putting all the pressure in the world on your quarterback and receivers.
I hate to say this about running backs, and I apologize. But just like the NFL, they're not necessarily a needle in a haystack. All right. I'm not saying they're abundantly everywhere.
I'm calling bullshit because you get to practice with Kasim. So bullshit. You can't compare every running back in the league to Kasim. Stop it.
It is really nice to not ever have to worry about our running back.
Right.
I mean, in terms of when he's on the field, you are not getting slack. Like there is no. It's not like he half-assed it, or he was tired, or
right.
he got drunk the night before. It don't matter. So that is a nice thing to have. But I seen him raw in the beginning, and I talked to him. I pulled him aside many times, and I was like, "Listen, man, you are leaps and bounds above anything I would ever imagine to be."
Right.
But I know some shit, and I said, "You need to figure out a way to become more humble. You need to figure out a way to calm your shit down." I said, "This is not just a physical game, which you're clearly good at, but it is a mental game, bro.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if you let any of this outside noise get to you, you affect the team because you will be penalized or suspended or whatever. It still takes the focus of the job to be done." And I would tell him, I said, just keep doing what you're doing physically, but mentally, you got to think these things out. It's a fucking game. It's a chess match. They are trying to get in people's heads. They're trying to, that is the whole point. And once he started to hone in on that, and I said, when you want to talk back, I said, just start clapping. That's your cue to just calm yourself down and start clapping. You don't have to clap in their face, but you can get up clapping. And
Right.
he does it all the time now. And like for me, you know what I mean? Like he is rare, but I believe that there are a lot of talented dudes in this league. And if they could just figure out a way to be more leaders, because that's why I don't want to diminish the running back position. But for me, like I said, I think there's a lot of guys that could do it. I maybe it depends on the coach. It depends on the system. Maybe it depends on those things. But if you have a good coach and you understand blocking schemes, you can put a really, really good runner on the field consistently. Again, maybe not the energy that Kasim has or some of those things, but you will get a lot of production, top-notch production. So I don't think it's there. I don't think it's as valuable because I think the league is built on the pass game, and the league is designed for that. And luckily, as a league, we have never gotten to the point where it looked like arena. We never did that. We just had a 36-28 game for the champ, and that was a defensive game. So, but I just think that the receivers, if you have, it's hard because you compare things to the Cyclones, but if anybody else had a Mike Stum,
Right.
I still think this dude would legit put 10 to 15 touchdowns a season. No problem.
Okay.
Even Neihart. I think Neihart on any other team would be successful in terms of individual statistics.
Gotcha. So speaking of running back versus wide receiver, what is ranked higher in your top 50? A running back or a receiver? There's your clap, Bart. There's your clap.
Really close, though.
It don't matter.
Now you're making me think of it. Where is it?
Oh, dude, I love it.
I don't even know where I put all this shit. Top fit. Oh, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna go through it with you.
Okay.
All right, number 25. Do you have the first 26 through 50?
No, I do not. I watched the podcast last week. I just didn't write nothing down.
Yeah. Might be hard to read.
You're good. Okay, I got it.
See now. This is where things get dicey for me. Because there's people that like are missing.
You're already public enemy number one, Mark. Just spit it out.
There's people that are missing on this list that I'm thinking of now, and I'm like, how are they not on this list?
Right.
All right, I'm just going to take you 1 through 50 or 1 through 25.
Okay.
Number 1, I'm sure you can guess who that is.
Greg Medina.
Yeah. Number 2,
Kasim Johnson.
yes. Number 3,
Malik Breon.
no. I'm going to get in trouble for him, by the way.
Is Malik your top Viking?
No.
Sean Steve.
At number 3?
No. Is he your top?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just going to give it to you because that's who it is at number 3.
Sean?
Yeah. Dude does everything.
He's a freak.
Really, really well. And
He's
I
a
like
freak.
his energy a little bit more than Malik's. So I definitely think he's their best player.
I'm going for another cigarette. God damn it.
Number 4.
God, I kind of wish I knew what your list was last year.
I can tell you what it was.
I'm gonna say
So last year, here's my top 10 last year. Medina, Kasim, Sean Steve, Ray Dominguez, Charles Brooks, Greg Williams, Malik Breon, Corey Tallarico, Jason Neihart, and John Bell.
okay. Oh, so does that mean Malik's number 4? Because Ray's out, Greg's out.
No.
Who's number 4?
Delron.
He's not in the G for this year.
It was for last year.
Oh,
This is based on last year.
Good. Bro, stop it. You have Matt Wise, number 35.
Yeah?
He was injured.
Not for the whole year.
A majority of it.
I saw enough.
Bold. Okay.
I saw enough from Ray Dominguez to know he should be on this list too.
Okay.
This isn't like the best statistical year. This is just who are the best.
Are you putting Stum number 4?
I said Delron.
Oh, Dalron, that's right. Okay.
Who's number 5?
Stum.
No.
Number 5. Corey Tallarico.
Corey Tallarico.
Okay.
Summit 6.
Okay.
Who do you think is 7?
Tony McCraw. Malik.
Nope.
Oh. LC.
Nope.
Wow. I have no idea.
He's a Comanche.
There? Trey.
Tyler Dieter.
Oh, yeah. See, I forgot about Tyler. My bad, Tyler.
Everybody does. To me, he is by far the best defensive player in this league. Top to bottom, any position. People don't understand this dude can jump out the corner and cover receivers. I guarantee you. So he is definitely the best player in the league on defense. So I
Right.
put him at 7. 8 is also a Comanche.
Trey.
John Bell.
Oh, yeah. He was number 9 last year or 10. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, a solid athlete, man. Not just out of position, man. From the scrimmage we've seen, I mean, he has a voice on that sideline.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to see when that happens. We talked in the past about Medina being the ultimate Cyclone cheerleader, genuine happiness for his teammates. He has that voice. John, same thing.
Right. Number 9 is a
Malik.
Cyclone.
LC.
No. Defense.
Tavares. What? Nyhart. Oh, Jesus. I have no idea.
Roger Jane.
Yeah. Hard to argue that one.
Number 10 is also a Cyclone.
LC. Bro, I'm getting Medina on here. This is bullshit.
Jason Nyhart.
Okay.
11 is Trey Campbell.
I don't think the GFA has seen the best Trey Campbell. And I think next year it's strong possibility he's higher on that list. My opinion.
Number 12, Anthony Morant.
A-Train.
13 is Tony McCraw.
Hard to argue.
14 is Brandon Durr. 15 is Matt Tavares. 16. So here's where it's tough. So there's a guy specifically I forgot. There's 2 guys I forgot to put on this list who I'm really mad now, but I don't know if I can squeeze them in here somewhere instead of somebody else. So I'm going to go with 15B.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I'm going to do this.
Nice curveball, Mark. Nice curveball.
15B, I would say Todd George.
Don't know much about him.
I think he's a top 20 player. Number 16, I still have Ray Dominguez in there. I know he got hurt, but
dude's total professional.
The only reason he's at 16 is because he got hurt.
Total professional too, man. He's genuinely great dude. Again, leader on the sideline.
Did he go to games after he got hurt?
I don't know. We played them so early in the season. I don't know. I'd imagine it would have been hard because from what I heard, he ripped his knee up pretty good.
Yeah. Number 17, I have DJ Farrell.
Okay.
18, I have Malik.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get death threats about that one.
Yeah. I figured. He's soft. Like he just seems like he's soft mentally. I don't know what it is.
So what was his knee injury 2 years ago?
I honestly don't know. I couldn't even tell you that.
So coming from a history of knee problems, I know that my orthopedic surgeon told me 1 year from the date of the surgery, I'd be at 80%. Now, that was 2 surgeries. My third knee surgery was major reconstructive. They also took the ACL out 1 year post-op. you'll be at 80%. It'll be 2 years before you're completely healthy. Now, as an athlete, you are also aware of the fact that in the back of your mind somewhere, it is planted. You're afraid to take that step. You're afraid to make that hard cut. You're afraid for something. If that is at all the case, everything Malik did last year, he did not do at 100%. Right?
It still seems soft to me. I don't.
I get it. It's easier for me because I don't got to play them.
All right.
But
so I'm gonna get heat from Malik.
I believe he could be up in that list higher next year.
19, Youssef Redick.
Yeah.
He's really good, man.
Yeah.
Good. 20, I have Angelo Galetta.
He's a monster.
21, I have Abdul Murphy.
Well, I mean, we've already touched base earlier on what I think of him. So
22, I have Derek Watts.
Okay.
23, I have LC.
You're going to catch shit for that too.
Yep. 24, I
do.
have Kenneth Reed. And 25, I have Kyle Hinson.
Don't know much about Henson.
I think I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. And I can just looking at the list, I can tell
you want a mulligan.
Less time I put into this one.
You want a mulligan.
First one. Like this folder. Hold on. This folder here, full of all these papers. This is just my stuff to do the list last year. It took me 3.5 weeks.
Got you.
This took me 3.5 hours.
Yeah, you don't have enough time in the day. Uh-huh.
I was watching film last year, trying to just do my best at, and I got shit on for my list. So this year I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go through in my head. I'm gonna remember what I remember. I'm gonna talk to a couple people if I don't know some people, and that's it. I'm gonna make my list, and I'm getting shit, yo.
Yo.
At least Mike's thumb's not 20.
Well, you have let me just double check here, so I'll remind you about your digs at the Cyclones. You had Contento at 43, so I don't know what's worse, Contento at 43 or Stum at 20.
Probably Contento at 43. It's probably worse. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now I have a question about your list.
Yeah.
Or no, Pete Ireland was not in the league last year, was he? No. Okay.
No.
That's right.
A lot of people are talking to me about Emilio.
Yeah.
And like I said, if anybody wants to sit there and look at this list and tell me that they think that there's no way somebody should be on the list, I'll have that conversation. Other than that, it's splitting hairs. Like even Florida, what's his name? I don't know his real name. Florida Savage.
Yeah.
From the Warriors. He should probably be on this list. He's really good.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. Took a half-assed way to do it. I did it quick. But I still think it's a pretty good list.
It's a very solid list, but
I love people getting mad. It's great. So I figured, how could I outdo myself with Stum at 20?
Contento 43.
Because I'm not gonna lie, when I sat down the first time, I was like, oh, well, it's Contento's top 25. So let me put them, because I do my columns and then I write down people that I think could be on either side.
Right.
And he started on that left column, 1 to 25, and somehow he made it all the way to 43. So
I would challenge anybody that wants to actually give you a load of shit. Let's see your top 50.
Well, like I said, to me, it's funny because nobody's gonna do this. Nobody has the guts to go on and name drop 50 people out of the best 50. Like, I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't. I think part of this list, I'm not gonna lie to, maybe is a little bit of a mental game. Maybe I want to entice Contento to give me his best one more time. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, for me, like, I think my players are the best players in this league. Maybe other than the Cyclones receiving core.
All the more reason I'm pissed that Davion Reeves and Stevie Martonic weren't more heavily considered.
They were on my. He got an honorable mention, didn't he? Davion.
Davion did, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Martonic did not.
No, but he was on the. He was. I have the paperwork here somewhere. Here, Steve Martonic, 31 tackles for the Mustangs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Davion, 324 reception yards, 8 touchdowns. And I think I had somebody else.